Hello, dear folks. Welcome to the show. Jack Chow once again geared up to start a brand new week quiz. Today we're talking about the film that has been lately making box office records. Not only does that, it makes a record of American way of thinking. So today, once again, we're talking about the film and the consequences of the film and the brainstorms of Americans after the storm. And joining me are my two closest friends, great person and great advocate to the society. I call them my backbone friends. Alan Diamante, attorney at law, and my good friend, other friend, even more handsome, Mr. Ken Hemming, a writer, right? All right, good. And a philosopher, sometime I call. To both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Honored to be here.
Thank you.
Sure. For the last 2 weeks, ever since the release of The American Sniper, and there is on one side, we see a crazy increase of the box office value. And on the other side, we see different comments or even controversial from different angles. So to me, I feel confused somewhere in between. I know there is a saying of criticism against the two wars that were waged during the past decade. And there is also a big issue to say that we need to promote our American patriotism. So how we distinguishingly separate them, how we see them as two different issues. They are orange and apples. Are they orange and apples or are they not? So in the discussion today, we would like to, the three of us, will put our thoughts together for our audiences to see as references. How about we start right now? Good.
We're ready.
I believe Ken has seen the movie, right?
Saw it a couple days ago.
Okay, I saw it twice.
Yes.
And Alan is scheduled to see, and he has, prepared a lot more information even than we, probably after seeing it. So, do you think, Alan, there is a big, no question asked, the big theme of the film is to promote American patriotism?
Well, I'm sure that's an angle. Mm-hmm. Basically movies are storytelling, mm-hmm. and the director, Clint Eastwood, is giving a story. Mm-hmm. He starts with a script and he gives it his angle. And scripts are based on a perspective. Mm-hmm. So yes, I believe that it's a film that's supposed to bring out American patriotism.
Mm-hmm. And Ken, do you realize there is a kind of like a mystifying situation that we can tell the two issues between criticism of the war and the promotion of patriotism?
Well, as I think patriotism, by the way, is a byproduct of the story, which is what it wasn't written or created to encourage patriotism. Mm-hmm. It either exists in your soul or it doesn't.
All right.
But in terms of yes, there's differences between acceptance or support or criticism of the war, and also honoring or dishonoring the duty of volunteer army that we have, which is sometimes keeping us safe. And I think that the three of us we have different views as to the distance or the difference between our view of the war, my view, your view of the wars you refer to, right. And also the patriotism in honor of our volunteer service people.
Sure. All right.
So, yeah, so some farther apart.
What if we start talking about the criticism of the war as a start? Shall we, please?
No problem.
So, what's your take overall? Because I know there is lots of criticism about a war already. We know that. But we really, once again, like Ken says, we want to take our own perspective, right? So what's your criticism or your take of criticism about the two wars?
Yes.
We should identify them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, we got Iraq and we got Afghanistan.
Yeah, one by one. Let's see Afghanistan first.
Well, Afghanistan, why are we there? Why were we there? Was it to get Obama bin Laden? Osama bin Laden,
Oh,
excuse
no,
me.
Obama bin Laden. Yeah.
Forgive me, forgive me.
Forgive us, Obama.
I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of close. But were we there to protect the Afghani people? Were we there to fight terrorism? Should we be the ones to be the leaders of the free world to go to Afghanistan to do this? We know that the Soviet Union was in war in Afghanistan for a long period of time. And if anything,
lost.
it was probably deemed to be a failure, similar to Vietnam.
They lost, yeah.
But it all depends on the perspective, you see.
All right.
So we just got to make sure we realize is through whose eyes we see things, who writes the history books. So that's it's questionable whether we should have been in Afghanistan. Was there an immediate threat to the United States, the national security of the United States, and that caused us to go to Afghanistan? I have a question mark.
All right.
Well,
Ken,
but I do think-
what's your take about Afghanistan war?
Well, first of all, I have a global vision where if America is not leading, look what's happened. The world is in utter chaos right now because we're not leading and we're not protecting. But in Afghanistan, I do think that's where they planned 9/11, and I might have the wrong zip code. I'm not positive, but I think that's where it all. Osama bin Laden was and everything when all of this was planned. Now we didn't learn much from the Russian war because it was pretty hard to fight in these hills and very difficult. But I support our leadership. Sometimes it's in clear vision and perfect. Sometimes it's imperfect and can be criticized.
I want you both gentlemen to correct me if wrong. There is a clear distinction between a revenge act to wage the Afghanistan war and the fact that it is called for international security for Americans to move forward. Do you think there should be a clear distinction even at the point of waging the war?
Can I just one comment there? Look, we got hit December 7th, 1941 at Pearl Harbor. Did we get into World War II for revenge or did we get in to try to save the free world? So I don't know there's an answer to that. So I don't think revenge is the issue. I think a need for action.
Please.
Well, again, I mentioned perspective. I'm sure for many, revenge was enough. And for others, yes, we're the leaders of the free world. But when do we wear that hat? We don't always wear that hat. We wear that hat when it's convenient for who's ever raising that issue. So again, I believe, of course, that as a nation that we have to protect our country. But whether or not if that was actually an act to protect our country, I question it.
All right. So now, obviously, you two are not in agreement about the initiative of the Afghanistan war.
Yeah, but right. I mean, neither of us have military data that they've made their decisions on either.
I'll cast my vote on Alan's side on this issue, on this issue only, because at that time we assumed that is our enemy, right? But how to take care of the hit? So I would say a revenge, a tit for tat hit is enough. We may bomb whatever we want to bomb. We want to get whatever it costs them to bear at certain laws that will balance our hatred. That's enough. We did not necessarily to wage a long or even prolonged war that you cannot even end up.
Well, it was deliberate and selective. A lot of the guys that were involved in 9/11 were nationals of Saudi Arabia. Did we take action against Saudi Arabia? No. In fact, when the king recently dies, we have many of our representatives of the Senate and the House go down there, and the president, for the death of this king. Now, was this
funded lots of terrorism?
He was largely complimented.
So, and that's the thing. Is this king somebody that's done something for mankind? What is it that they're doing other than producing oil? And then the question is that why our officials, our representatives went down there? Is because of the importance of the oil to the United States? I question it. It's a matter of perspective, but whether it was selective, that we went to Afghanistan, whether there was some sort of benefit that we were aiming for, that probably wasn't an element of national security or protecting the United States. It was maybe another element that they were looking at. I kind of believe that could be the case.
You can.
Well, I don't know what else there would be in Afghanistan. There's nothing there, but right.
You mentioned Pearl Harbor, right?
Right.
Okay. Just to take exactly Pearl Harbor as an example.
Yes, sir.
5 years later, we send them 2 gifts, right?
Well,
at the end of the war.
Yeah.
We
So
saved
the big one,
millions
the big
of
one, the
lives.
little
would that be
We
would that
made
be
millions
enough?
of
Would that be
lives.
enough? Well, or could we do something similar?
No, what happened, look, we rebuilt Germany and Japan after we defeated them. Nobody else would do that.
No.
We're not.
Yeah, I'm talking about the action part. With the action part, why didn't we wage a war to invade Afghanistan like we did? Well, like we did with Iraq, right? Why would we do that? Why wouldn't we do something like we deal with Japan? All right. Anyway,
our guys don't
obviously
kill
we
for
have
fun.
a little disagreement here. Let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll find out how exactly the disagreement lies, in which aspect, to what extent. When we get back, we will continue. Pick up from there, please.